How many of us in this room or watching at home have faced a problem and didn't know the solution? Actually, raise your hands. I know I am. Instead of calling them problems, let's reframe our approach and call them unprecedented events. Per Webster's dictionary, unprecedented means not done or experienced before. Throughout life, there's no way to avoid it. We will all face a series of unprecedented events in our personal lives or back at the office. They can make us feel alone, isolated, and unsure. But instead of feeling this way, we could feel more involved, included, and secure by reframing our approach. By accepting and addressing unprecedented events, we can build ourselves and our community up. Accepting the problem, the situation, the life experience is the first step. We need to accept that some solutions will not be easy, or the solution we initially accept. I want to share an example of an unprecedented experience that I had. But before I share, we're all going to do an exercise together. I want everyone to turn your head to the right while counting to 3. Let's count together. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now bring your head back to the center. And we're going to do the same thing on the left side, but stop at 2. Ready? 1, 2. We're stopping because that's my current reality. Bring your head back to the center. In 2022, my life changed. On a sunny day, I was suddenly hit from behind while driving. The moments after impact are still a blur, but when everything stopped, my car was laying flat on the passenger side, facing in the other direction. It was terrifying, and the jaws of life were required to get me out of the car. I had no clue what was in store for me next, but I was alive to figure it out. My story is not unique. Every year, 2.35 million people in the United States suffer from injuries due to road crashes. That means more than 6,400 people have car accident injury cases every day, leaving thousands of people like me trying to figure out what's next. To this day, I'm still trying to get to 3, hundreds of appointments, close to a dozen doctors, and who knows how many tests. But I'm not going to stop. I'm sure we all have moments where we wish we could time travel. But sadly, driving 88 miles per hour in a DeLorean won't work. While we can't go back in time, we can control our future. And to accept unprecedented events, we must understand that the future may have a different normal. Yes, there are challenges. But from my example, you can't physically see my new normal. But accepting it and owning it is the first step of approaching any unprecedented event. Now that we have accepted that we are in an unknown situation and we're feeling alone, isolated, and unsure, we must put all of our resources into moving forward and addressing it. Addressing the unknown can be daunting. So how can we feel more involved, included, and secure? At work, we reach out to mentors to guide us. When we're stuck between movies, we check Rotten Tomatoes. If we want to see how a restaurant is, we check Yelp. And for everything else, we use Google. We should do the same for unprecedented events. Face them together rather than alone. What's unprecedented to you isn't unprecedented to someone else. I learned this firsthand in 2017 when my parents' home in New Jersey caught fire. During this time, I was living in Texas for work. I woke up from a text from my mom letting my sisters and I know that there was a fire, but her and my dad were okay. I've never felt more useless and concerned. A few days later, I was able to make my way back to New Jersey, where I saw the house where memories and belongings were now burnt and destroyed. The place where we gathered for holidays, where we had that bad turkey every Thanksgiving, where we spent time bird watching from the deck, was now gone. So what was next? We had no clue what to do, but so many people reached out to help. We received support from all over the community, including our friends who brought my parents food and clothing, a special group of J&J colleagues in New Jersey who raised money for my parents, and even someone on Facebook who commented on my post offering help since he was in the same situation prior. Initially, I didn't want to reach out to that person on Facebook because I thought I could handle it on my own, but I had no clue, so I reached out. Our conversation helped ease my tensions and gave me some useful advice. We are all faced with unprecedented events, whether traumatic or euphoric. And sometimes, while the solution may not be clear, we're all in it together. Sometimes it's hard to reach out for help, and we feel we could handle the situation better on our own. But don't let your pride get in the way. What's unprecedented to you isn't unprecedented to someone else. Those people who provided support to my parents brought light to such a dark time to my family. So now that we have accepted and addressed the problem, do you think we're done? No. Now that we have persevered, it's our turn to support. And it's easy. It's as simple as sharing your story, like I am now, like that person on Facebook, lending a helping hand, or even just being present for the person right next to you. Unprecedented events can happen at any time, but each time is an opportunity for us to reframe our approach so that when we encounter them in our personal, at work, or in our community, we can handle them. And so, as we go on to our normal day-to-day, I encourage us all to accept and address these moments as we encounter them in our days, at work, and in our community. And go one step further and provide support to those around you. Don't be afraid to share your story. You never know what impact it could have.